Hi, see, it's me, C. Welcome to another Elden Ring lore reaction video. This time, we get to dive into Demigods together! Now we're starting. Okay, today we're learning about the Elden Ring's Demigods. We learned a little bit about Godfrey in the last one, who was a demigod, then lost his powers, so I hope they kind of delve on it a little bit more.
The demigods are each and all the direct offspring of Queen Marika. There was Godwyn, Morgot, Moog, Radan, Rykard, Ranni, Miquella, and Malenia, Blade of Miquella. Malenia, Blade of Miquella. Malenia, Blade of Miquella, and Malenia.
Do you think Malenia, Blade of Miquella is one of the demigods, guys? I'm getting a sneaking suspicion. I'm starting to think. Also, all their names literally are G-R-M. I'm gonna forget all of them, perhaps. There might be. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe we'll discuss on it more later. Let's see.
Not again, all of these demigods had fallen from grace by the time the shattering occurred. But in this video, I want to mostly talk about the origins of these characters, who these demigods were before the fall. And some of these demigods fell a long way indeed. Before he became this unsightly mess, Godwyn the Golden was quite the heroic figure. He was born of the promising union between Lord Godfrey and Queen Marika.
Okay, so they did have children. Okay, because before I thought they didn't have children, it was the other guy. No, is this the second husband? Or is this the first? That's not the first guy. Why does he look like he's side-eyeing really bad? He's like, 3, possibly 4. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna describe them based on what they look like because I will forget their names. Just call them Blood Guy, Horn Guy, Rotman. Wow. Wow, Rom. Because he's Rom, you can fit in this game. Your name starts with R. Oh my god.
And he achieved great renown for his bravery in one of their wars, at least. The War of the Ancient Dragons. This war began when Grandsax, a great ancient dragon, rained calamity down upon Leyndell, marking the only time in historical record that Leyndell's walls had fallen. It's not clear why Grandsax first attacked, but fortifying themselves against lightning, the Knights of the Erdtree weathered his assault and Grandsax was defeated. However, this was...
Grandsax is the dragon? Why are they named? Aren't dragons supposed to have like really beautiful, elegant, strong, powerful names? Ain't no way his name is Grandsax. Dragon D. Everything's okay to the Fire Nation attack noted till Grandsax attacked, apparently. But this, I think the Golden Boy is gonna save the day.
Only the beginning, and a bitter war against the ancient dragons was to follow. During this war, the Erdtree Sentinels had an epiphany that the only way to truly protect the Erdtree was to become dragons themselves. And so, despite...
Yeah, you know what, guys? When I want to protect a tree, I too think the best option is to turn into a dragon. Write that down. This is the one thing I'm going to bring up. I want to protect a tree. Let me become a dragon.
Boiling the corpses of their foes, the grotesque sentinels served the Erdtree, but fought with the claws of the enemy instead. In the end, the ancient dragons were routed once again. In a graveyard of swords by the Stormcaller Church, the end of the war is commemorated. Here, we learn that during battle, Godwyn the Golden defeated Fortisax, called the mightiest dragon of the...
Is all their last names end in Sax? So Golden Boy defeated a different dragon. Hold on. Unless it still said Grandisax. It said something else Sax.
The end of the war is commemorated. Here, we learn that during battle, Godwyn the Golden defeated Fortisax, called the mightiest...
Fortisax. That's a lot more than Grand Sax, even though 40 is less than Grand, which is 1,000. Oh, they can't do math. Dragons can't do math. Okay, noted.
Dragon of them all. However, he did not kill Fortisax. Instead, he befriended him. And it was in this act that the powers of the ancient dragons truly became a part of Leyndell. After all, only those loved by dragons can survive the ordeal of cladding their bodies in lightning. So, from an unlikely friendship, an ancient dragon cult was born in the capital city, and the Knights of Leyndell learned to worship the dragons and wield their lightning.
crazy turn of events. I was gonna pause it, but so he was like, I'm gonna delete you. Just kidding. The adventure was the friends we made along the way. Oh, not even tries to escape the G.R. Martin naming scheme. Everything has the same name, so there's just Golden Boy. Sack on D. Only those loved by 40 sacks and become a dragon. Yeah, apparently. Back with a crunch wrap, an envelope big enough to fit it together by 5-7 business days. Perfect. I'm waiting, TJ. I'll be waiting at the mailbox. Worship the sack. So, if you can't defeat the dragon, become friends with the dragon, and then you'll become even more powerful if you befriend the dragon, because now he has the power of lightning and friendship. So he literally has the power of lightning and friendship on his side. Okay, well.
Lanciax, sister of Fortisax, even took human form to better commune with the knights.
The dragons can turn into humans, and he has a sister. Oh, this guy's set.
It was officially decided that the worship of the ancient dragons did not conflict with belief in the Erd Tree, and it was all thanks to Godwyn, commander of the dragons' golden lightning, and a true child of the golden lineage. But now, let's talk about Morgot and Moog, the Omen twins, who were also born of Godfrey and Marika's golden lineage.
Okay, number 2. So, first child was Golden Boy. Second child is a pair of twins. Morgot and Moog. If you can't be the dragon, start worshipping his sacks. That's how it works. Crims, I chuckled at your message. My little dragon. Dragons, their lightning can shapeshift. Noted. Yeah, apparently they could turn into pretty women. Dang. Moog beat the allegations. What? Margaret. Wait there. What? So this is just this. George R. R. Martin did it again. He did it again. He put pair of twins that love each other. Maybe a little too much. Maybe a little too much. It's up in the air. Dragons can turn into human-shaped dragons. Whether it can be fully human is speculation. Well, it said she did it for like a minute or something. That's what they said. I'm just saying one thing, the demigods are dumpster fire. I'm trying to keep up. I'm trying my best. They're for sure on good terms, right? Yeah, they're definitely, he did, he sure did. They're on great terms. It wasn't between twins, it was between siblings. It says they were twins. It says Morgot and Moog were twins. I could rewind a little bit.
The Omen twins, who were also born of Godfrey and Marika's golden lineage. First, what?
Yeah, Moog is like a half-sibling. Oh. George has a colorful internet history. He has a type. Morgot and Moog don't like each other? Oh. Okay, well, we didn't know that they love each other very much in the story yet. They just said they were the second part of children, and they were twins. Okay. Moog likes Miquella. Who the fuck is Miquella? I guess we'll find out. All right, the more we know. He stole her? Oh my god, what is happening? Well, all right. It gets even worse. Okay. Great. Can't wait. Oh god. Oh, well. Oh geez, here we go. Buckle up, Chad.
What is an omen? Well, to put it simply, an omen is an accursed child, seen as impure, as they are born with horns on the body and face. When this happens, the correct thing to do, culturally at least, is to cut off the horns of the omen, an act which usually causes them to perish. It's pretty messed up, but some omen do survive this process, and some omen are even given a cleaver, crafted specifically for them and awarded as a tool of war, although these weapons are bestowed with a readiness to take them away. We find one such omen in an Erd Tree camp upon the Altus Plateau. Before you fight it, you might have noticed another omen nearby, writhing in its sleep. It's said that omens see evil spirits in their nightmares, and I think this omen is dreaming, haunted by the vengeful spirits of its accursed kin. This brings us to the Omen Killers.
Okay, interesting. I was gonna make the same joke. They have a lot of horns. So what was the purpose of them again? I got distracted by they cut off their horns and sometimes they survive. And I was like, that sounds like a rough fucking life. Like, I was born this way, but, you know, I cut them off and there's a chance I could survive. They all look like Nurgle. I don't know what Nurgle looks like. Yeah, it's only gonna get better from here. It's a curse. Okay, so they're born with a curse, and there's a chance they could cut them off. Omens are an abomination. They're hated by those they are born from. Are they gonna explain the purpose of these omens? Because they kind of seem like they were dealt not a good card in life. As long as they don't cut off their lower horn. Oh. You mean like the ones on their legs?
Who are horrifying butchers of twisted conscience. They wear these horned masks that make a mockery of the Omen's nightmares, and these butchers hunt the Omen and amputate their horns. The first Omen killer was named Rollo, a famous perfumer who had to imbibe a physic to rid himself of emotion so that he could better perform his tasks. Remember, it seems many Omen have their horns excised when they're very young. That's definitely disturbing enough to warrant an emotion.
I'm sorry, I feel bad with the whole horn thing, but he literally got rid of his emotions so he could be better at making perfumes? Interesting. Interesting. It's something from the Crucible. They call it a curse. They'll keep that in mind. This is spoken by a religion that is trying to get rid of the old religion, which is also Crucible. Take it with salt. Okay, I swear. That's literally what they said. Better at killing omens. Okay, but he owns a perfume place, and it was like, oh, let me backtrack it. Let me backtrack. It sounded like yeah, he was an omen butcher, but he got rid of his emotions to make better perfumes. He what? Why he hurt babies? That's well, okay. Omens are born with horns, but okay. But okay, all right, hold on.
Imbibe a physic to rid himself of emotion.
Okay, little farther back.
That make a mockery of the Omen's nightmares, and these butchers hunt the Omen and amputate their horns. The first Omen killer was named Rollo, a famous perfumer who had to imbibe a physic to rid himself of emotion so that he could better perform his tasks.
Okay, so that I didn't technically hear it wrong, but now it makes sense mentioning he didn't rid his emotions to become a better perfumer. He rid his emotions because he was the first Omen killer. Okay, all right, got it. But he also is a really good perfumist. Okay, heard.
Remember, it seems many Omen have their horns excised when they're very young. That's definitely disturbing enough to warrant an emotion-killing physic in my book. However,
yeah, that checks out. I don't think I'd be able to live with myself to hurt babies, but okay. Yeah, that makes sense why he had to get rid of his emotions now. You said perfumers use aromatics to boost their stats like magic. Oh, so he's not just trying to smell good. Okay, all right. I didn't know that was part of the okay.
The Omen is born of royalty, then their horns are not cut off. But the Omen is kept underground, unbeknownst to anyone, and imprisoned for eternity. By way of example, you would have seen all kinds of Omen confined to the sewers beneath Leyndell. But why are Omen considered to be accursed in the first place? Some of them are clearly intelligent, so what's inherently wrong with being born with horns and great strength? Well, it's important to remember, I think, that this curse might only really exist in the context of the Golden Order. After all, those afflicted with Omen horns are not able to return to the Erd Tree for rebirth, and are said to be born outside of its grace. But why does the Golden Order disavow the Omen, then? Well, it's hard to say for sure, but my working theory is that it's to do with the Crucible. According to this ancient incantation, horns were once an aspect of the Erd Tree's primordial crucible.
Okay, so this is the theory he said. I'm gonna back it up again one more time, just because it was a lot of information that was like really interesting. So they pretty much decided, I think they said the Erd Tree guys pretty much decided that the omens were bad, even though they're super strong and they just have horns. So they pretty much decided they were bad and that they were gonna fight them. But then he's going to explain why here, because there's a crucible, okay, that has the horns. Okay, all right, hold on. I gotta listen to this again.
Why does the Golden Order disavow the Omen, then? Well, it's hard to say for sure, but my working theory is that it's to do with the Crucible. According to this ancient incantation, horns were once an aspect of the Erd Tree's primordial crucible, where all life was once blended together. And with the exception of a couple of Crucible nights in and around Leyndell, We know that the Golden Order has started to distance itself from most things that touch upon the Crucible. While things like horns, knots, feathers, and scales once grew on the human body and were considered signifiers of the divine, now they are disdained as impurities as civilization has advanced. We learn this from the knot, scale, and feather talismans, all of which are guarded by Omen, or dropped by Omen killers, no less.
Wow, that's interesting. So they were considered fine at first, but because it was, I guess, humans over time. There's also something at the bottom that I want to read too. But because it became more human over time, they're like, this is weird. Banished to the Shadow Realm sewers? Yeah, what do you do when you don't want to deal with people? You send them to the sewers, apparently. Horns are only cool when you get them implanted at Hot Topic. I don't think they have a Hot Topic in Elden Ring. Hi, Maple. Hated those knights that kicked my butt. I don't think I've ever fought one of those. Okay, it says at the bottom, note, additionally, Morgot has a tail, and Moog gains feathered wings in Phase 2. These are also aspects of the Crucible. That's good to know. Okay, so that's probably why, well, I mean, we don't really like them anyway, but that's why they're kind of disdained, right? Like an Omen bad. Okay, because Moog has feathers and Morgot has a tail. Huh.
Fortunately for the Order of the Erd Tree, these once divine impurities seem to crop up in some births, whether they like it or not. Almost like it's a genetic trait, as if it touches upon the Crucible at the root of the Erd Tree. And so you have to ask, is it really a curse to be born as a graceless Omen? Well, as with most curses in these...
Okay, it also said, just because there's notes at the bottom that I'm just realizing, in these games, curses are typically the domain of the gods. Okay, so they're super powerful... domain of the gods. Okay.
Games, I think that depends on your perspective. In any case, Moog and Morgot were Omen royalty, and thus they were born into a wretched mire far below the earth, horns and all. Here they were kept under the strictest confinement. Each of them were bound with charmed shackles that were covered in roots or thorns and bathed in golden magic.
Okay, it also says, as noted by the Quelog, these thorn shackles bear resemblance to troll shackles. So they were born from Marika and Godfrey, but then were immediately sent to the sewers because they had horns and a tail, so they were considered an Omen. That's not very nice.
It seems very few people were supposed to know that they even existed. Morgot, for his part, renounced and despised his accursed Omen blood, but his brother Moog embraced it. Deep underground, Moog stood before an outer god, a being called the Formless Mother, who craves wounds, a being capable of bestowing power upon accursed blood. In this moment, Moog's accursed blood erupted with fire, and he became besotted with the defilement that he was born into. Here, deep below the earth, he would go on to build a dynasty of blood, in reverence of a mother, something it seems he never truly had.
That's so sad. Did they say they called him mother, but he craved for, like, the essence of the mother because he was just shoved underground? He embraces his vampire side. He's morbid. He's morbid? That just, it's kind of sad. It was like, oh, they were born and they were shoved down. He was a beep. He wasn't called mother. Okay, I thought they said... he craved a mother, wanted mother, and I'm like, named mother. He called for his mother. Oh, okay. That's kind of sad. So he just that's so sad. The poor what Nihil? What's Nihil? It's so fucking sad. He just wanted his mom. What the fuck? No, why? No wonder he's so upset. He's spaghetti. I feel bad for him. He's cursed with the horns and shoved in a sewer. Do I feel sympathy for him? Oh, psych. Okay, I guess we'll learn more. Nihil means nothing. Oh, okay. Maybe okay. He's a okay. Well, I'll change. That's because he's sad. Does not condone his actions, but okay, we'll go.
As for Morgot, he was born into the same accursed fate as his twin brother, but despite not being blessed with grace, he loved the Erd Tree all the same, and even took it upon himself to crawl out of the sewers and become the Erd Tree's protector when the Erd Tree needed him most. In the end, he rightfully became the Omen King and Lord of Leyndell. Omen or not, he was, after all, born of Godfrey and Marika's golden lineage.
So he crawled out of the sewers to protect the tree when the tree needed him. Okay. After all that hill, he deserves the sewer. Being sad doesn't condone a 50th of his man's sins. Well, I don't know any of his sins yet. All I know is that he was born, he had horns, they shoved him in a sewer, and he's like, I just want my mom. And they pretty much said no. That's Morgot, not Moog. Oh, Moog, sorry, I mixed up the names. See, fucking the blood guy. The blood guy is Morgot, and this is Moog? Moog, oh, the other guy's Moog. They need to mix up the names a little bit, please. You got M's and O's. Morgot's kind of chill, Moog's an absolute nihil. Okay.
Of course, the marriage between Godfrey and Marika would be ended, and before long, Marika remarried with another man, a champion named Radagon, who Marika calls her other half. He became second Elden Lord and the king consort, but he also brought with him 3 children from a previous marriage that he had had with a Carian queen named Rennala. These children were Ranni, Rykard, and Radan, and they all became demigod stepchildren after Radagon's reunion with Queen Marika. Possessed of his father's flaming red hair, Radan was fond of its heroic implications and considered himself to be born of a great champion, yet he also looked up to another man, Godfrey, the first Elden Lord, Queen Marika's first husband and the Lord of the Battlefield. But Radan wasn't just the son of Radagon and an aspiring Lord of the Battlefield, he was also the son of Rennala, who was head of the Academy of Raya Lucaria and Queen of Caria. So as a Carian royal, inclined toward...
They're saying so many names right now, I forgot his name already. There's every name they've mentioned so far started with an R. Who are we talking about again? Radan? Okay, we're talking about Radan. Okay, the man who learned to freeze the stars so he could ride his horse. That's kind of base. Okay, well, it's Radan. Okay, it's Radan. Okay, they literally said, this is Radagon, also the guy of the war. His father was this, his mother was this, then he was also the, and it was like, whoa, okay, all right, he's the go. Okay, we like this guy, even though he seems very fight-oriented. Okay.
Sorcery, Radan bent his will towards mastering gravitational magics. Rock sling, gravity well, collapsing stars. These techniques were taught to him in Celia, the town of sorcery, all so he would never have to abandon his beloved but scrawny steed. That said, before long, his powers would be put towards a more cosmic purpose than...
Okay, so his scrawny horse is the tiny horse you guys are talking about. Okay, absolute beast. Also, take it easy, Maple. Learn gravity magic just so he could ride his horse. What a beast. I mean, he's like, this is my horse and I'm gonna protect it. So that's kind of base. Look at the little guy. Look at him. He would squish that poor horse. He's giant.
Simply allowing him to ride his own horse. Radan was taught gravitational magic by an Alabaster Lord, a member of a race of ancients with skin of stone who were said to have risen to life when a meteor struck long ago. And when his lessons were complete, Radan uttered these chilling words.
Thank you for your tutelage. For now, I can challenge the stars.
And of course, he did conquer the stars, and the very constellations would be halted by his strength. But of course, you kind of have to ask, why? Why was it necessary to conquer the stars in the first place?
Okay, so, he likes his horse. He has a cool master. He even said, thank you, I'm gonna go fight the stars now. Learn gravitation stuff. Okay, so it's good. Man, the power to stop the rotation of the stars, just keep riding his horse in old age. Yeah, he's like, I'm not gonna let you down. I'm not gonna leave you. So he's good. Radan uttered the chilling words, I am various. No. Okay, so this guy seems good. But now we're getting to the question, which I actually was gonna ask, like, yeah, why does he want to fight the stars? So I guess we'll find that out now. He literally asked the question I was already going to ask.
Well, I have a couple of theories. Theory 1 is that it was done in self-defense. After all, according to the Sword Gravestone, Radan was protecting Celia. What's more, gravitational magic has destructive power, and many gravitational beasts are proof of that destructive power. A being named Astel had even come down to the lands between in the past and destroyed a place called the Eternal City. What's more, Celians are descendants of the Eternal, positioned right above the Eternal City underground, so there is an argument to be made for Radan purely defending Celia for some reason here. But it's possible for Radan to have fought in this conflict and to have made the first move as well. So this
Okay, so the first theory is that he just wanted to do it to get respect from people, or am I missing it? If stars so big, why won't they fight me? Yeah, he looked up at the sky and said, nah, I'd win. I could fight the stars. I mean, America is not great, so I don't know if I'd fight on her behalf, but okay, so let's see what else, because it's just theories. There's no actual, according to this, there is no actual description of why he wanted to fight the stars. It's just theories.
This is theory 2, that Radan conquered the stars as a preventative measure in service to the greater will. According to a set of astrologer items, the night sky cradles fate. There's even a banished sect of people called the Nox, who live deep below the earth in eternal anticipation of the coming age of stars and their Lord of Night. Long ago, these people invoked the ire of the greater will, so it would make sense that those in service to the greater will might have sought to arrest the stars and put an end to this fate. What's more, Radan was just a huge fanboy of Godfrey, and he seems to have more loyalty to the Erd Tree.
Okay, it was really cool. It's like the second theory is that he's doing it preventively to make sure it doesn't cause chaos. And it's just like, this last part is so funny. When I fight the stars, caveman logic dictates we must fight anything. I mean, he is a warrior, to be fair. But this last part, oh my gosh.
Arrest the stars and put an end to this fate. What's more, Radan was just a huge fanboy of Godfrey, and he seems to have more loyalty to the Erd Tree than to the moon. Finally, the telescope item description says that the fate once writ in the night skies had been fettered by the Golden Order, so surely this is referencing Radan's actions, and it levels the blame at the Golden Order. But putting Radan's motivations aside, it's a fact that the stars were held back, and that this had great consequences for many, especially for the rest of his Carian royal family.
Let me explain. The fate of the Carian royal family is guided by the stars, as is the fate of Lady Ranni, first heir in the Carian royal line. But General Radan is the conqueror of the stars, who stood up to the swirling constellations, halting their movement in a smashing victory. And so,
sorry to cut you off, because it's just so much information back to back to back, and I'm trying not to pause it at like random times. So they want the stars to be moving, but there's someone stopping them. Okay. By hitting the stars, he halts fate or something. So if he stops, the end of the Erd Tree age. Okay, so right, the stars relate to the Erd Tree. He likes the Erd Tree. He's a huge fanboy of Godfrey, and he wants the stars to keep going. Okay, well, again, he doesn't seem that bad. Okay.
if General Radan were defeated, the stars would once again resume their movement, as would Lady Ranni's destiny.
Lunar Princess Ranni was the daughter of Radagon and Rennala, and sister to Radan. Interestingly, if you look at her true body atop the Divine Tower, it looks like she might have also inherited the red hair of Radagon. Cool detail, but unlike her brother, Radan, she quite clearly took after her mother more, who was Rennala, head of the Carian royal family. The House of Caria has this storied history, one that seems to go way back to the astrologers. In the Carian Manor, we find one of their treasures, the Sword of Night and Flame. It reads, "Astrologers who preceded the sorcerers established themselves in mountaintops that nearly touched the sky and considered the fire giants their neighbors. Rennala herself was an astrologer, always chasing the stars in her youth. Then she met the full moon, and in time, the astrologer became a queen, establishing the House of Caria as royalty."
That's so cool. She literally was like, I love the stars, but the moon. Ranni, it's waifu. Wait, Ranni wants him to move, who is his sister. Okay. I have to remember that the stars also relate to fate because they want the fate to move. And Ranni's part of the stars, and so is his mother, right? I forgot her name, the one with the cone hat. More people have the ending where you marry her than you can marry her? I didn't even know that was an option in the game. I thought you just deleted bad bosses. Oh, okay.
Karia appears to have a matriarchal hierarchy, with multiple princesses and carrier knights that serve as their retainers. Now, however, there is only one princess, Ranni, daughter of Rennala. And at the time of her birth, she would have been set to inherit quite a lot of power indeed, for the Carrion royal family was at its height, and her mother was not only queen, she was also head of the Academy of Raya Lucaria, having bewitched them with the enchanting power of the full moon. Leading the young Ranni by the hand, Rennala guided her daughter to a meeting with a moon of her own. What Ranni beheld was cold, dark, and veiled in occult mystery. A dark moon, a sort of twin to Rennala's own full moon. You can even see both of these hanging in the sky if you stargaze from the heights of the Moonlight Plateau.
Okay, that's really cool. So her mom was like, hey, you also like the moon? I'm gonna give you a separate moon that's similar. That's actually really cute. Okay, so Ranni, I'm hoping what I've learned so far, Ranni also is not bad guy. Age of Stars ending has you going to the moon with waifu. Well, there's stars and moons, and I think they're both kind of okay, and they're chasing for it. It's a lot at once, but I'm trying to grasp it. I'm trying, because, like, he'll say something, and I'm like, oh, I have to remember that. And he'll say something else, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I have to remember that.
Another who guided Ranni was a character called the Snowy Crone, who the young Ranni encountered deep in the woods. When you look at Ranni, it's actually the likeness of this snow witch that you're seeing, as the doll that now houses Ranni's soul was modeled after her, probably as a sign of respect. Clearly, Ranni looked up to this mysterious woman. She became Ranni's secret mentor, and she even knew about the Dark Moon, teaching the young Ranni to fear it as she imparted her cold sorceries. So, what do these moons represent?
Okay, perfect part, because we're going to learn what the moons represent. So she had a teacher, taught her about the moon. Apparently Ranni's actual body didn't make it, but we learned that before because it was kind of like ashes with the red hair that he showed. So now she's in like a doll-like body that looks like her teacher. But didn't say she killed her teacher, but it looks like her teacher in honor of her. So respect. She's got the respect. Ranni probably didn't kill anyone. That seems a little sus. That seems a little sus. Ranni has her own plans like most people in this game. Well, yeah, she wants to touch the moon. Have a moon, but not this one. That one's fine. She killed her body? Oh, I thought it said she was just killed, but like her I guess soul kind of, but pretty much spot on nice. I'm trying. Ranni is oh no. We're gonna learn some things, aren't we? I feel like I need a video on each of these children itself, because this is like so much information, and he's explaining it well. It's not on him. It's 100% on me, because I'm like, the names are just throwing me off. At least I know Ranni, because it's the blue girl. Okay, Pringles can. Ranni wants Ranni is great. Yeah, she seems cool. I know a lot of people like her because she's cute, but we'll see. Okay, now we're gonna learn the meaning of the moons. Love that.
That's just a theory, but I think the moons kind of act as guides. The lost black moon of Noxtella, for example, was the guide of countless stars. What's more, Ranni and Rennala were heavily influenced by their moons. Rennala's moon bewitched the academy that she became the head of, and Ranni's dark moon, for its part, also imparts wisdom and leads a voyage in the Age of Stars ending. They could even be outer gods. And yet, for all of this guidance, Karia and Leonia as a whole have experienced steep decline. Radagon betrayed the House of the Moon. Radan locked the stars out of motion. The Academy town is flooded to the north. Karia has been ruined in the west, and the stars and moon have gone their separate ways.
So everything messed up? I thought the second child was fighting for the stars to move for Ranni, but he wanted them to stop? She killed her body and then killed Godwyn's soul so her soul could live in, but not an Empyrean body. What the fuck? I like the moon magic, she's wife. It also had a note at the bottom saying that like the moon magic eclipsed something else. So I'm wondering like what that means with the spell. Some people get all the moons. Does my moon look big in this?
Nevertheless, Ranni, last princess of Karia, remains, carefully setting new plans into motion.
Oh my god, I just realized I thought that side of her face was her hair. It's another face. and like they shared the middle eye or her right eye. I didn't even see. Why did I not see that before? I thought it was just like her part of her hair was glowy. Is interesting. Do they explain that, Sam? Yeah, do they explain that? Because that's really, because I know it's not her body, but like, do they explain like that's part of her soul and that's like, do they explain that or will I find that out later? It's a dope design. Yeah, it's super cool. I thought it was just like glowy on one side because of the eye, but I didn't see the other whole side of the face like a dingus.
Sibling to Ranni and Radan was a man named Rykard, who was Lord of the Volcano Manor. There is evidence that Rykard was friendly with his siblings. He conspired with his sister Ranni later on, and there's even a portrait of Radan hung in the Volcano Manor.
Theories that the second face is her soul. That's what I was thinking, but I wasn't sure if they were gonna touch on it or like what, because it says like it wasn't actually her body. So together, Snack. So this is they said his name and then said this is Rykard. I'm gonna speed it up back. So he's kind of gets along with his siblings, but not really. Rykard. Okay, Rykard. Okay. So first one was, oh god, I feel like, oh my god, this is so, okay, let me focus on Rykard. Basically, Ranni loves her mom, but all her mom wants to do is give birth to more kids, so Radan Marika will take her back as a surrogate mom. Oh my god. Together? What? This guy is super friendly, just wants to be part of his family? Huh?
That Rykard was friendly with his siblings. He conspired with his sister Ranni later on, and there's even a portrait of Radan hung in the Volcano Manor, as well as a portrait of Rykard himself before the fall. Item descriptions mark Rykard as stern, ambitious, heroic, and blasphemous. A part of this blasphemy was opposing the Erd Tree, which actually drew many knights to his banner, for Rykard believed in taking by force, just as the gods did, and clearly many believed that he would usher in a new age. The armor set of the Gelmir Knights reveals to us.
Okay, so he doesn't like the tree. He likes his siblings, has pictures of them, and I did notice he said before his fall. So, spoilers, he does fall. You defy the very gods. He wants to smush you with his cute little sword. Yeah, I picked up on that a little bit. I picked up on it. He just wants to tee-hee-ha-ha shove you into his sword. TLDRs, there's a lot of divorce of Greek mythology with extra steps. Great. I love that.
What were once very loyal soldiers. The crest of red feathers are there to symbolize Rykard's pedigree as Lord Radagon's son, and the emblem upon their chest piece represents a lord who had lofty ambitions. However, as Rykard delved into the ancient secrets of Mount Gelmir, he came across the immortal Great Serpent, an ancient deity that aligned with Rykard's ambitions. And so, Rykard fed himself to the Great Serpent so that he might devour, grow, and live eternally.
I don't like that. So he fed everyone into his soul, and then he said, psych, I'm gonna let the giant danger noodle eat me. They're just the Lannisters? Yeah, I'm kind of getting those vibes. Rykard let a snake eat him. He just let him eat him, but then kept his face, so he... Okay, snake ate him, ate Rykard, then Rykard's face is now, instead of cute little danger noodle snake face, is now a human face. Okay. Oh, alright. That's... Because their values aligned? Alright.
Alas, this was too much for his knights, and they believed that their master's heroic ambitions had degenerated into mere greed. So they searched desperately for a weapon with which they might halt their lord, and they found it too. The immortal serpent had lived for a long time, and so there was also a weapon to kill it that had been designed long ago as well. A serpent hunter. But it was...
Of course, you want to kill the immortal dragon, and to kill the immortal dragon, they have a snake, there's a weapon to delete it as well. Okay, you consume, become part of the whole. I like how he's like, yeah, I wanted to become part of the snake, but my followers said, no, that's silly. So they found a way to try and stop me by finding a sword that kills this snake that's immortal. Okay, and he also swallows a giant sword because of reasons. Is it the sword that absorbs everyone? Because that would also make sense.
Too late. As the Lord lost his dignity, so too did the knights lose their master. Not that it bothered Rykard.
Now we can devour God together.
Next, we need to discuss Malenia and
I'm gonna hold on.
Now we can devour God.
No, a little bit more. Sorry. So his followers defeated him, but now he's happy. No, together.
designed long ago as well, a serpent hunter, but it was too late. As the Lord lost his dignity, so too did the knights lose their master. Not that it bothered Rykard.
Now we can devour God together.
Together. Okay, so he's alive. I thought his followers actually managed to delete him, but he didn't. So now he's really happy because he still has his followers, because now they can devour everything together. Okay, got it. Got it.
Next, we need to discuss Malenia and Miquella. These two were twins as they were born. No, Rykard.
I'm sorry. Because they were born twins together. That was such good timing. Oh my god, I'm gonna watch that again. I was like, okay, all right, Miquella, all right, good, together.
And Miquella. These two were twins as they were born. No, Rykard, please. Anyway, as you know, Radagon's marriage with Rennala did not last. Afterwards, he returned to the Golden Order and became Queen Marika's consort. But what I haven't yet mentioned is that, together, they were blessed with two demigod children, the so-called twin prodigies. Now, in the last lore video, I briefly proposed that these two twins were born after the Shattering, after Radagon and Marika had merged together to become a single god. However, I've since changed my mind. I think Malenia and Miquella were clearly born before the Shattering. There's just so much proof that these two twins were a force that were influencing the world long before the Shattering took place.
They're the ultimate Nepo babies. Oh no. So they're the chosen, they're the favorite children, so to speak. That's what I'm learning right now. That they're the favorite children, and they thought they were after they merged together, but now we're not so sure. Miquella was, oh god, yeah, oh no. Oh no, these are the twins. Ew.
Anyway, both of these twins were born afflicted. Specifically, in the Japanese text, it's said that their births were vulnerable. Miquella was born afflicted with eternal youth, and Malenia, for her part, was vulnerable to rot. Interestingly, Malenia's scarlet rot is actually an outer god. This outer god, like many others in the game, seems to have an order that is able to be imposed upon the world via an Empyrean vessel, and Malenia was that vessel. And while the scarlet rot is pretty terrible, you can sort of argue that it's got a beauty to it. According to Gowry, the order of rot is resplendent.
So the scarlet rot is bad, but it gives her powers and she kind of vibes with it? That's what it seems like you're saying, like, oh, it's a curse, but also she's like kind of okay with it. Miquella, the least creepy lore ever, where they're like, oh, it's beautiful, but like not really. Miquella ain't W, their whole family needs to learn no means no. Now there's twins. Hi, Riku. Malenia is also the most spiteful piss baby ever. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, but we're on Miquella right now, so we'll learn about the other twin, I'm sure, after this. Peter Pan syndrome or super mega death rot, which could be worse. So the other one is the one that's forever young, and this one just has the death rot. Okay, I really like Malenia here. It's definitely interesting. The fact that they're twins, but it seems like they're so different. Wait till the DLC. I don't think Miquella ain't creepy. I mean, I haven't even completed the game, so I'm a little behind.
Cycle of death and rebirth, kind of like the lotus flower, which is a flower that blooms anew, beautiful and fresh from mud. I actually have art of this flower hanging in my home. I always love the symbol of it. I actually have lots of art hanging now, and I'm going to talk about all of this artwork that you can buy at the end of the video. Anyway, so Malenia the Empyrean was vulnerable to and afflicted by the scarlet rot. There was said to be no cure to this, and while fire and consecration seemed to be somewhat effective at warding it off, Malenia would slowly lose her physical self to the rot. Interestingly, old legends of the Scarlet Rot have persisted in the world for generations, and we learn
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, she's kind of naked, and then they gave her armor. Oh, sorry for my voice. Woo! Moog escapes allegations later, but for now, I could just assume he's super creepy. I have heard he's kind of a little creepy, yeah.
more about the Rot God from the Blue Dancer charm. The dancer in blue represents a fairy who, in legend, bestowed a flowing sword upon a blind swordsman. Blade in hand, the swordsman sealed away an ancient god, a god that was rot itself. Specifically, this god was long ago sealed away in the stagnant water that is downstream of the Ainsel River underground. And wherever rot appears, the kindred of rot appear as well. These are pests and servants of the rot. And now, in the current age, these are servants that have been forsaken by Malenia, who is their new goddess. So, this blind swordsman with the flowing curved sword actually went on to become Malenia's mentor. So technically it's him that we have to blame for this goddamn attack. The prosthesis wearer heirloom tells us more. A talisman engraved with a scene from a heroic tale. Though born into the accursed rot, when the young girl encountered her mentor and his flowing blade, she gained wings of unparalleled strength. Malenia's ridiculous...
She gained wings from the Master, or gained wings from the Scarlet Rot and the Master? Because it seems like the Scarlet Rot was bad, but it's not really that bad for her. They're all pretty much creepy, as with most old noble families. Well, I'm kind of getting those vibes, yeah. Wings of Rot. Okay, I'm shaking just watching that attack through the screen. The PTSD is too strong. I haven't experienced it, so I don't know. From the Rot, okay. Waterfowl dance to BS attack. Well, it's all Hayes' fault. Name the man in blue.
Attack is called the Waterfowl Dance, and aesthetically it makes sense that, flowing waters would counter the effects of rot. For just as still waters turn foul, stagnation turns to decay. Thus, warriors must remain ever drifting. And indeed, Malenia does resist the call of the rot. There's a lot of evidence that she's not really a willing vessel, but through sheer will and sense of self, she resists the rot. And only when she is truly pressed in battle will she abandon this will and bloom into the goddess within. Malenia's first bloom was during her fight against Radan, and releasing her scarlet rot was a last-ditch effort that would forever taint the land of Caelid and cripple Radan. So whatever she was fighting for in this fight against Radan, somehow it was worth this terrible act.
Okay, so the rod is kind of like her superpower in a way, but she tries to go against it. But in this fight against her brother, that looked like the first brother, she pretty much was losing and then released the Scarlet Rot to kind of more like waterfowl. Lost 10 hours of my life to that stupid attack. So good though. Did you learn it at some point? Night-night, Jim. Get a good night's sleep. You do meet Master Yoda in the DLC. Oh, it's sort of destroying her body too. Right, they did say it was taking it over. Yeah, I forgot about that. It's also what made Radan turn into a mindless beast. Oh, half-brother. Oh, okay. Yeah, I keep forgetting there's like two sets of siblings because they're like step-siblings. No, they're technically step-siblings, right? Because he had these children before. No, these are the children that were married afterwards. Okay, never mind. There's a lot of children with the same names, similar names.
In general terms, at least, it's clear that Malenia was fighting for her brother. Apart from the times where she relapses into being the goddess of rot, she is known as the Blade of Miquella. She actually goes to great lengths to tell you this. I don't know if you heard. Despite being the toughest boss in From Software history, she's actually fighting for his right to godhood, not her own. In Malenia's own words, her brother Miquella possesses the wisdom, the allure of a god. He is the most fearsome Empyrean of all. For his part, Miquella did a lot to earn his sister's dedication, not the least of which was inspiring her armor and a prosthetic of unalloyed gold. It is not just his sister that loved Miquella, many people did. The Bewitching Branch is an item that you can use to turn enemies into temporary allies, and it reads, "Indeed, he has learned very well how to compel such affection."
That's pretty cool. That's sweet in a way. You think you've won, but you've triggered my trap card. PS Rod shenanigans. I mean, it's kind of destroying her, so I could kind of see why it's like a last-ditch effort type of thing. I think Moog was a worse fight than Malenia. Malenia, Miquella, and Ranni are Empyreans. They are people capable of achieving godhood. I thought they were... they're demigods, though, aren't they? Because the whole thing is, like, Elden Ring demigods. I've heard that somewhere. Did you know she's... Yeah, did you know that she's the blade of Miquella? Did you guys know that? Moog was so butt, he literally had 3 items that were only meant for his boss fight. That's crazy. Miquella uses love to control others. She's by far the most creepy one. Oh, that's what it means. It says a note at the bottom. You could almost argue that there's a sinister aspect to compelling affection. Yeah, it's kind of like controlling them, I suppose. Demigod and Empyrean. Okay, all right.
For his father Radagon, Miquella fashioned and gifted to him a fundamentalist incantation called Triple Rings of Light. Radagon then returns the favor, gifting back an incantation called Radagon's Rings of Light. These interactions show some of Miquella's positive connections with his father and also Golden Order fundamentalism. And yet, the young Miquella abandoned fundamentalism, for it could do nothing to treat Malenia's accursed rot. This was the beginning of unalloyed gold. So, what is unalloyed gold? Well, an alloy is a composition of metals, so unalloyed gold is pure gold, essentially, with no external mixtures. This gold apparently can ward away the meddling of outer gods, and so Miquella bent a lot of his efforts towards creating an unalloyed gold needle. Specifically, this needle was crafted for his sister, to ward off the rot god and forestall the effects of the incurable rotting sickness. We see the bond between the siblings as well when we visit Miquella's Halig tree. We see a statue of a one-armed woman embracing a child, Miquella. In this place, we see the biggest example of Miquella's benevolence, the Halig tree, and the society that was built into the brace that supports it. This was a promised land, seen as a salvation to many who were shunned or persecuted, provided that they can actually find the path here, of course. And like many other Empyreans, Miquella seems to have had the will within them to create a new order, and his is an order that's somewhat modeled on the ones that came before it. The biggest thing is that the Halig tree is clearly inspired by the Erd tree. But the difference is that Miquella's Halig tree is said to be accepting of all, even those the Erd tree shuns. Miquella himself was once embedded inside of the Halig tree, and he watered it with his very own blood since it was a mere sapling. Tragically, however, he was ripped out of this womb during the shattering, and his Halig tree ultimately failed to grow into an Erd tree.
So they were trying to grow another Erd tree, and it was kind of working, but then he was ripped from it, or... Where does the Halig tree rank on the tree tier list? I don't know. I'm just learning about this tree. DLC has a lot of missing context, especially for Miquella and Marika. Oh, okay. He was taken to the island. You want to save her? Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds so sad. They're like trying to protect each other, and then it's like, nope, just kidding. Bad news. More bad news. It's kind of like it's sad.
Becoming a misshapen husk instead, but that's the story for another day. There's also a ton of cut content to do with Miquella, and he's one of the most mysterious demigods, who I'm sure we'll learn about more later. But there is one more thing that I want to mention before I go.
Can we get the Halig tree to get fingers too? I mean, it has the converging, and maybe it has the same cause and effect that the Erd tree has. We're be hopeful. This is Elden Ring, so knowing it's a happy ending, I mean, yeah. Elden Ring lore is kind of depressing. I'm trying to like comment on something, and the only thing I want to comment is, oh, that's sad. Oh, they're trying to protect it. Oh, that's sad. But ain't tragedy from soft. Day. It's just like, I was like, oh, that kind of like, oh, they're looking out for each other, and they got ripped apart. Oh, look, and they're gone.
It's kind of one theory I had during the making of this video. So Miquella and Malenia each have their own butterflies. Malenia's is the Aeonian butterfly, which inhabit the swamp of Aeonia and are rumored to come from the wings of the rot goddess herself. And I think it's fair to say that Miquella's butterfly is the nascent butterfly, which appears as if it's just emerged from its cocoon for its entire life. This is a reference to Miquella's eternal youth and his cocoon in the Halig tree. But there is, of course, a third butterfly, right? There's the smoldering butterfly. It's said to be an eternally burning butterfly that serves as kindling. Now bear with me, but it's my theory that this butterfly is a reference to Melina, who the Blade of Calling calls the kindling maiden and the one who walks alongside flame. This might suggest that Melina is a sibling to Malenia and Miquella. Again, that's just a theory, but what I
This girl is interesting. Okay, I've never even picked up on the butterflies. Oh, that's cute. They're siblings. I mean, it's more like protecting each other than I saw more than like further than that. But there's a fourth. There's a fourth. Ranni. Oh, well, because they said the three, but I thought this was just like some human fortune teller girl. So
really want to talk about here is that, at the very least, Melina is almost certainly the daughter of Marika. We learned this a long time ago from looking at her name in the game's files, and we can further infer it from her dialogue, as she has a few lines that refer to mothers and one that says that she was born inside the Erd tree. So her being the daughter of Marika is also just a theory, but this one is much more concrete than the butterfly one. Although the reason I like the butterfly theory is that it gives us a hint as to who Melina's parents might have been. Her parents would have been Radan and Marika, which is to say Marika herself alone, I guess, because Radan is Marika. Honestly, Melina as a character has only become more mysterious since the game was released, and I'm really only scratching the surface with this theory.
thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please consider liking and subscribing. If you have any recommendations for future videos, please feel free to leave them in the comments below.